All right, light up those pumpkins, everybody, because we are live. Let's see who else is awake and out there tonight. What's up, everybody? There we are. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. What's going on? Start this off with a toast to all of you for being here for the kickoff tonight. Sorry, running just a minute or two behind. It is 10:33 according to my clock here. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. Let's see. We got a few some new blood in the chat room already tonight. That's always good. If you are new here, my name is Matt. I'm with Halloween Daily News, owner and editor in chief of Halloween Daily News, and this is our weekly Michael Myers Monday live chat where we geek out and commune here with the fans of the Halloween movie franchise and just talk all things Michael Myers and go over any of the week's news and so forth. And this week, and to my returning friends, happy Michael Myers Monday, guys. Any of you that were here last week, you'll remember I said that we might not do a live tonight because we are going out of town tomorrow and doing some traveling and going to end up at Scares That Care weekend this weekend in Williamsburg. But I said I would if there was enough news to talk about. And thanks to Total Film, there is enough news to talk about this week. And so that's really what we're going to do tonight. Just going to concentrate on digging into this cover story. And because last Monday we really just had the two covers to talk about. And then on Tuesday we got 3 more photos. We got quotes. And by the end of the week, the magazine, it's out now. I don't have a physical copy yet. I haven't got one yet, but I do have the scans laid out for us. We can check out everything here tonight. And but before we even get to that, Sammy says, "Nice shirt, thank you, sir. Appreciate that." I don't know if you can see the words. It says "Every day is Halloween," and that's Michael carving a pumpkin. It's only our motto around here at Halloween Daily. But yeah, I see everybody up in here. Phil and David and Ryan, of course, and there's Sammy Smith. What's up, man? Maestro Megatron in the house tonight. Alyssa, what's up? Welcome. Who else do we got in here? There's Chad. What's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Art is here. Thanks for being here, Art. Timothy, thank you for being here. Happy Michael Myers Monday. I saw Saint in here earlier. So yeah, we're gonna go through this here, and I'm not even gonna do the usual format. I'm gonna skip things that I typically do, like the show and tell, and some of the other things. There's no flashback clips tonight, and there's not really any other news stories I'm gonna spend much time on tonight. We did get some better photos of the Halloween 2-pack from NECA and a few other little things, but Trick or Treat Studios is doing their Comic-Con at home this Saturday. That's one little thing that I was going to mention. I'm pretty sure that's when they're going to officially drop their mask, their Halloween Kills mask. This past week we saw NECA and Mezco and a whole bunch of companies do their own virtual Comic-Cons. Other companies are doing it this week. Trick or Treat Studios is doing theirs this Saturday. That was one of the things. And so I'm pretty sure, I know alleged photos of it have leaked online, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make it an official reveal at that time, I would think. So awesome. Char Gray, what's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. I make video edits of Michael Myers. Very cool. I should let you know that if there's any transmission issues, it is because we are experiencing a thunderstorm right now outside my house, and it is pouring raining and lightning, and sometimes we lose power when that happens. So if everything just stops abruptly, that might be what happens, and so I'll just apologize in advance, and I'll do my best to reconnect to this feed, and if not, if possible, I'll start another feed, and but hopefully none of that will happen. So we're going to get on into this. Like I said, all I really want to talk about, I am going to do a few shout outs at the end of the show. And before I get going, I just, again, want to plug Scares That Care weekend. That's where we're going to be this coming weekend. It's in Williamsburg, Virginia. And it's a 3-day event. It's all for charity. great guests like PJ Souls and Tom Towles and Michael Pare and just a ton of awesome people and great vendors, of course. They're doing a makeup contest Friday night, a costume contest Saturday. It's for a great cause. You can read more about it on our website, HalloweenDailyNews.com. And we're going to be there all 3 days, bringing you full coverage, including I plan to do some live broadcasting from the convention. And my plan right now is on Friday to do a live episode of the Halloween show. And you probably saw earlier today, like I did, the announcement that the Sean and Christopher, Thing with Two Heads, are doing a live episode of their show Friday night from Chicago, Flashback Weekend in Chicago. But they're going to be doing theirs at 7 p.m., which I believe is Chicago time, 7 p.m. So that for us on the East Coast, that's 8 p.m. So whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be done before then anyway. So I'll be their opening act that night, so to speak. If everything goes as planned, a lot of that's going to depend on the connection that I can get at the hotel and just how everything's going. But that's the plan. I did a test run today. Did my whole setup here with a laptop. It can work. We can do it on the road. And but I'm also going to be doing some stuff, even just with my phone, like some walkthroughs throughout the weekend. Probably more of that on Saturday, but Friday live edition of the Halloween show is the plan right now. But keep watching this channel, the community tabs, and our Instagram, of course, and we'll keep you posted on all of that. All right, so let's get into this Total Film magazine. Like I said, I went out Friday, tried to find myself a copy locally, couldn't find one. Not surprised because we live in a small town that only has like one bookstore, and they don't have a lot of cool magazines like that. But like I said, we're going to be on a little road trip the next few days, so I'm going to pass by a lot of Barnes and Nobles, and I am hoping and planning to pick up my own physical copy of the issue then. Now, this cover here, of course, is the subscriber cover, which is kind of my preferred of the two. I'm not going to talk too much about the cover images because we've already gone over that last week pretty extensively. And I'm not going to spend too much time on the 3 images that were released on Tuesday because I did a separate video on that. But I do just want to dig in and kind of take it page by page and image by image. But I'm really going to be especially concentrating on the interviews because we got little bits of the interviews teased throughout the week last week. Total Film would put little, 2 or 3 sentences in a story on online articles throughout the week last week. Well, now we got that full cover story in full and all the quotes from David Gordon Green, Jamie Lee Curtis, Malek Akkad, Danny McBride, and so forth. And there's some pretty interesting stuff in there. You've probably heard about a lot of it. I haven't reported on all of it yet. I wanted to basically talk about it here on Michael Myers Monday with you guys first, and also get my hands on the physical copy. But we are going to be looking at some scanned images from the magazine tonight, and it's all over online, but these actually come to us courtesy of let me get his name right, Caleb Cascio, who on Twitter, he tagged us and a whole bunch of other people that are always talking about stuff like this. And he had scanned the magazine, and other people have downloaded it. I know I could buy the download, but I'd much rather have the physical edition myself. So let's dig into this. So bam, right off the bat, there's Michael in all that swagger that I talked about on our trailer breakdown. I like the Field of Screams. Ryan Korn with the $10 super chat. Ryan, you rock, brother. You rock. I'm going to pause the presentation to toast Mr. Ryan Korn. Love you, man. Thank you. Happy Michael Myers Monday. All right, back to the field of screams. Let's check it out. Now, I don't know if you can see what it says down there. Hopefully, it's coming through fairly clear for you. Um, but it says Michael Myers is back for blood and Halloween Kills, but this time Haddonfield is taking the fight to the shape. Ahead of the savage middle chapter in the new Fright Night trilogy, Total Film speaks to the film's director David Gordon Green and star Jamie Lee Curtis about tapping into real-life fears and sticking the knife in the big screen's ultimate boogeyman. So this is the clearest shot. You know, we've seen stills made of this shot from the that very early teaser. It wasn't even the teaser. This was glimpsed. The first glimpse of this was actually in the rap video back in 2019. We knew that he was going to walk out of there, but then we got it in full in the trailer, and they're featured prominently. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time on some of these images that we've kind of seen closely, but I love, again, just the imagery, the emerging from the fires of hell. And again, it just makes me think of that moment in the trailer, which is just so badass when he steps out of there. Raju, love you, Michael Myers. Michael loves you too, I'm sure. All right, so let's move into the nitty gritty. This is where the article actually begins. And again, I'm not going to read every word to you. I know a lot of you have probably seen a lot of this. And some of the quotes have, like I said, they've been presented kind of on their own throughout the week, this past week. But, they've got the typical opening, the first line is call a film Halloween Kills and you better deliver. And they give some interesting stats, all of which we know, all too well. And then there's the quote from Jamie Lee Curtis about it's intense and brutal, just brutal. We heard that earlier in the week. I think on Tuesday that came out. And the part from Danny McBride, co-writer of this film in 2018, he says there's an incredible amount of killing in this movie. It's so bloody, it's wild. David just went for it. This is such a vicious sequel. It's relentless. That's Danny McBride's words. And then they recap that, of course, it was pushed back a year. They finished the final edit right about the time, right about a year ago, when it was announced that it was going to be pushed. And this last little bit in the bottom part of this paragraph is new and interesting, I found anyway. Again, they're talking to David Gordon Green here, and he is talking about the film getting pushed back by 12 months to avoid a compromised theatrical experience. And then he says he hasn't watched Halloween Kills since it was pushed back. And he says that's both to resist any temptation to tweak things here and there and cause trouble for everyone, and also so he can have a second opportunity to watch it kind of fresh with an audience, which I thought is kind of cool. And I mean, pretty confident, not even to look at the cut. I mean, he's just moved on completely. And then he makes that comment about that's why you make horror movies, is to watch them in a crowd. And then we flip over to page 2. And here are some of the images that have surfaced in the last week. Some new images. And I will pull them up in just a minute. Let me find the next quote in here. Yeah, there's quite a bit about the premiere of 2018. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. Yeah, a lot about McBride and Green being lifelong fans of the films. And here's a look at the first few photos from this page. Bud in the house singing Amazing Grace. Yeah, so it's a lot about Green and McBride, how they were always fans. Green has his original Halloween VHS tape that he had as a kid, still in his office, he says at one point. And McBride talking about the challenges of making a sequel. And again, bits of this were released throughout last week, like McBride saying the sequel is almost always where it shits the bed, or the monster is over explained, or something happens that makes it into a joke. We really wanted to find a way to sidestep that. So, again, just curious how they're going to sidestep some of the typical problems with doing a sequel. Down there in the corner, of course, that's David Gordon Green and talking to Mr. Nick Castle, holding the new mask. Of course, above that, that's our new Tommy Doyle, Anthony Michael Hall, having a laugh with Danny McBride. And there on the left, we got a taste of that scene in the trailer. I love this still. It's just the brutality of Michael. That his left hand is visible, and the visible damage from the last movie, you know, a little reminder of that stinger. Okay, so here's a little bit about Green and McBride's approach to doing the sequel. You know, whereas rather than do an obsessive pursuit of a single woman by a madman in a mask, they're going to turn it into an ensemble tale centered around the residents of Haddonfield, all of whom have suffered at Michael's hands. As Green puts it, Kills is a much bigger story than a man with a knife in a house, victim by victim. It's the plague of fear. As word hits Haddonfield of what's out there, and some of it's true and some of it's not, it's building the myth of this murderer. It's the larger, pervasive spread of fear and how it affects a community. So again, a little more on the mob mentality. Remember, you know, we knew it was going to be this mob mentality when it was Mob Rules was the filming title. Larry Moore has joined us. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. And then we have Jamie Lee Curtis quoted in here. Moving on down. And again, also on this page, you got Cameron meeting up with Michael, face masked. And of course, these shots are also on this page. Kyle Richards. Super excited to see her return, and see what's on the ground right behind her right there. You see what masks those are. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, she's there at a swing set. I don't know if she's there with her kid. Maybe her kid was wearing one of the Silver Shamrock masks at some point. And then on the right, another shot of Cameron there on the left and his dad, Lonnie, on the right. And then there's Allison getting into kick-ass mode. And it does say in this article at a certain point that it's really Allison who is going to be the aggressor in this film of the three. Karen has been suppressing a lot of this and dealing with this her whole life, so she's trying to resist just jumping right into attacking Michael, I guess, at least early on in the film, is part of what they're saying in this article. Here's what Jamie Lee Curtis says, quote, "Trauma was act one, if you will. There was a confluence between the Me Too movement and the Halloween 2018 movie, with Laurie Strode representing 40 years of oppression and her saying, 'I'm not taking it anymore.' I think it was a genuine reason why the 2018 movie was so profoundly successful. Now, David and Danny did not know that on January 6th there would be a Capitol riot," she continues. Quote, "David and Danny did not know that George Floyd was going to be killed and was going to stimulate large masses of people." And again, this is Jamie Lee Curtis's quotes here. Talking about large masses of people taking to the street and taking to acts of violence as a way to say, we are doing this on our own. We do not trust you to do it for us. That's exactly what Halloween Kills is about. An entire town saying, we are taking this on ourselves. It shows that David and Danny have a divining rod. They're future thinkers. They have some idea of what's happening in the world, and they're distilling it through their writing, end quote. So some pretty powerful words there from Jamie Lee Curtis. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time on the images that were released prior to Friday. Like I already talked in a previous video last week about the three Strode women there, that image. But here on the next page, you can get a good look. And I'll pull that up for you. On the left there, of course, that's Karen in that moment from the trailer, kind of taunting Michael with his mask. And I'm going to find a quote. That was a conscious thing to kind of revisit the moment in 78, the Tony Moran moment, if you will, when Laurie pulls off Michael's mask and he kind of, for a moment, is distracted enough to pull it back on. And that was a conscious thing to revisit that idea of what happens when he's not wearing the mask. And then on the right, of course, that's Sheriff Barker, played by Omar Dorsey, back again from the 2018 film. And here's more of what McBride says about Laurie Strode in Halloween Kills. Quote, "Laurie is a voice of both insight and reason that is trying to give a volatile community some sense of purpose here. It's less about vengeance and more about a calculated philosophy of how to process evil," Green says. He points out that, okay, this is another good quote from David Gordon Green. And that was David Gordon Green. I'm sorry, I said it was Danny McBride. That was David Gordon Green. Here's another quote from Green. He says, quote, Laurie's not the main character of Halloween Kills, but she is the emotional core of it. I could always turn to her for help in voicing these questions of the themes of this movie. So, again, like we've said, and I think we're all in agreement here, Laurie is the new Loomis. Bottom line, the emotional core. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of Allison and of Karen in this film than we will of Laurie. The last one was more Laurie. And obviously, we're, if that runtime is right, which it probably is, around hour and 45 minutes or so, there's a lot of characters to get to. All right, let's. Byron says Halloween Kills is going to be epic. Oh, yeah. Chad loves Andi Matichak. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I think they're really going to toughen up Allison in this film. I think she's obviously had a shitty night. It went from shitty to nightmarish. Let's go now, though. Now, here is the new shot of Michael. And again, these are pulled off the internet. People tagging us on Twitter. Most of these are from Caleb Cascio, though. But that's the new look at the mask. And you guys give me your thoughts on that. What do you think? I mean, it's pretty clear this is a whole new mold from 2018. I mean, not the same as 2018. What do you guys think of this new look? I like it. I think the burn marks are, it's just enough, It's not overdoing it. It's not half the mask falling off. At least not yet. All right, here's a little bit more about Allison. This is what David Gordon Green says about Allison. When we met Allison in 2018, she was a very relatable, lovely girl next door type of character. Allison here, she is ignited. She is in some ways leading the charge and is one of the more bloodthirsty of the group. Whereas Karen, who has dealt psychologically with her mother more intimately, is trying to resist those temptations. End quote. Okay, give me your thoughts on that bit right there, because that's a good bit that is new, that has not been said before. Allison is a little more bloodthirsty. Sammy says he likes the look of the magazine, or the Sammy likes the look of the mask, starting to look like a skull death is coming. Yeah. It is starting to look a little more like a skull. Death is coming. You're right, man. Right? It's just I can smell the mask from here. Burnt plastic in here. Yep. ETV says Allison will be more like Laurie in this movie. Yep. And I think Laurie will be even more like Loomis in this movie. I agree totally. Chad says, go get him, Allison. Yeah. Interesting, though, that her and her mom are going to be dealing with this differently. And I don't know how this is going to play out. I can't wait to see. But it's damn interesting. Allison, I mean, actually kind of leading the charge. It's almost like when she grabbed that knife and made that swipe at Michael at the end, and she's holding it, and I still think the best opening for this movie could possibly be is to open on the exact same frame that 2018 ended on, that frame of her holding the bloody knife, and it could open on that and pan right back up to the three of them and let it burn, and there we go. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject. All right, moving through the article. Then they talk a little bit about some of the legacy characters and legacy actors. And Green says, this is another new quote that was not published before the magazine was released. Quote, I was revisiting the original film and just wondered about who was up to what in the world. Well, gee, all you got to do is go to a convention, a horror convention. They're all right there, most of them. Oh, hang on, let me find that quote. Now I lost my place, guys. Yeah, he was thinking Charles Cyphers is retired actor, but what would Sheriff Brackett be doing right now? And could I somehow sweet talk him into joining us again? And then the magazine says, alongside Cyphers, both Nancy Stevens, who played Nurse Marion Chambers, and Kyle Richards, of course, as Lindsay Wallace, will reprise their characters from 78 and Kills. So, again, I mean, starting to wonder if Charles Cyphers was even, if that photo was even real that was leaked from the set, because there was that photo that was never like officially announced that Charles Cyphers was definitely in Kills. I mean, there was a photo that was leaked, and everybody just kind of ran with that. And we've just been assuming that, well, naturally he's back. And it was that, and Tom Atkins kind of let it slip in an interview that his buddy Charles Cyphers was in the new one. So, but here we go. I mean, no question about it. Charles Cyphers, Sheriff Brackett. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not sheriff now, but we're going to see what he's up to. And then, also on this page, and this is another very interesting tidbit. This is about, the couple that he's talking about here. It is, they are played by Carmela McNeil, and I believe his name is Michael Smallwood, if I'm remembering correctly. I apologize if not, but they play the couple dressed as a doctor and nurse who are leaving for a Halloween party in 2018, and Michael sees them. It's during that long shot where he's going kind of door to door and slicing people up, and he sees them leave. A lot of people think that they're Julian's parents. I think David Gordon Green debunked that during the live stream of 2018 last year. I'm pretty sure he said they're not his parents, but anyway, we do know that they're going to be featured in this movie. We've seen quick glimpses of her, at least her nurse's costume, and we've seen quick glimpses of that, and so we know they're going to be in it. And David Gordon Green, during that live tweet of 2018 last year, also mentioned at that time that we're all going to want to pay attention to this couple in the new movie. So here's what he says about that couple. This is David Gordon Green again talking. Quote, there's a couple that is going off to a Halloween party dressed up like a doctor and nurse who narrowly escaped death when Michael's going door to door. They really made an impact on me because I thought about them having been so close to an encounter with him, and could we bring them face to face with Michael in a way that they might not be so lucky to escape this time. That part of the puzzle, that was really fun for me, end quote. So clearly they're not going to avoid coming face to face with him. It sounds like everybody in Haddonfield is going to come face to mask with him. Ryan says they are undercover cops. Interesting. I haven't heard that theory before. That's interesting. We did see her firing a gun in one teaser. So whatever it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those scenes we're all going to talk about. Maybe it'll be this. I mean, what is Kill's version of the bathroom scene from 2018 going to be? I mean, it sounds like there's so much in there. How is there even going to be like one moment to pick? And of course, they talked to Anthony Michael Hall, our new Tommy Doyle, and he brings up something that I've said many times: is that Tommy and Loomis are really the only people in '78 who know that Michael is not just a man. He is the boogeyman. He is pure evil, and the boogeyman is unstoppable. You can't kill the boogeyman. And Loomis knows this. He uses fancy talk to say it. And Tommy knows it. He says it like a kid. And so, I love what Anthony Michael Hall says right here. He says, quote, "One thing which was interesting is that threat of you can't kill the boogeyman. I think that starts with Tommy Doyle." And he continues, "There's a really interesting level of conflict that happens early on. It's very intense and really ramps up," end quote. That got me thinking, because David Gordon Green will say here in a minute in a quote that we're going to see some heroes rise and some other heroes maybe show their true colors and fall. I mean, I can't imagine what we've got in store for Tommy and Lindsay in this sequel. I just the possibilities when I let my mind just explore this are pretty unbelievable. What's up, Jake? Welcome. Happy Michael Myers Monday, man. Byron says the firefighter scene is going to be like the lab massacre from Halloween 6. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good analogy for that. That's pretty good. Larry says the "this isn't a man" line by Loomis still haunts me. Exactly. Exactly. This isn't a man. And again, I'm going to pull a few more quotes, and Green gets to that in just a minute. The best is yet to come. Trust me. We've got a lot here. So that's Anthony Michael Hall on. I just found it interesting that there's going to be an early on conflict, and it ramps up really quick. Is Tommy and Lori going to be arguing, or Tommy and Karen, or it seems to me from the look of that trailer, Karen and Allison, for that matter, are a little separated from the group. I mean, Allison at one point is clearly with the group. She's there with Cameron and Lonnie, and seems like most of the group there kind of leading them. Karen, on the other hand, you don't see with the group quite as much. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. And then we heard Anthony Michael Hall tell this story to some website last year, but he says again that Paul Rudd actually gave him his blessing. Of course, this actually confirms from David Gordon Green and from everybody. This article, they called it an exclusive. I remember Jeff Snyder actually on his podcast, I think it's the N Snyder, he actually had the scoop way back in 2019 that they had extended an offer to Paul Rudd to come back as Tommy Doyle. And here, let me get on camera here so we can talk about this for just a second. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but y'all give me your comments. I want to hear what you think. How would that have played out for you fans to see Tommy Doyle come back as Tommy Doyle? I mean, to see Halloween 6 Tommy Doyle come back in Halloween Kills, played by Paul Rudd. The offer was made. He was busy making Ghostbusters, so that's why it didn't happen. At least that's the story everybody's telling. It's told again here in this magazine. But just fascinating that they would extend that offer. I tell you how I think it played out personally. I mean, they say in the article, Green and Paul Rudd are friends. They've worked together on previous films, and when they're doing their research and whatever, and rewatching the films or whatever prep, looking into the history of the characters, looking at who played Tommy Doyle. Oh yeah, Paul Rudd. Yeah, I know him. I mean, when he's like, well, let me just text him and see if he'll do it. I can guarantee if he said that, Ryan Turek and Jason Blums, their ears are going to, yeah, do that. We'll worry about explaining it later. And, this is that franchise that worry about explaining it later. Just make it work. But it didn't come to me. But according to David Gordon Green, he did give his blessing to Anthony Michael Hall. Brian Andrews, though, I don't know that he's given his blessing to Anthony Michael Hall yet. I'd love to hear what he thinks, especially after seeing Halloween Kills. I'd love to hear what he thinks. Yeah, so Tommy Doyle is back. Okay, and this is an important part, and then I'm going to go to the next photo. Yeah, this is good. First of all, spoiler alert, if you don't, I should have said that at the top of this. Obviously, if you don't want to know anything about this film, you should probably stop watching. I don't consider anything in this article too spoilerish, not any more spoilerish than what we've already seen in the trailer, or this is part of the actual marketing. But I guess I should have said that in the beginning. A little late now, but this next bit, don't worry, there's not going to be any Cult of Thorns stuff in the new movie. That much the David Gordon Green confirms. That's not going to be happening. What he does say, though, is that he and McBride have been determined to avoid any explanation of Michael Myers, supernatural or otherwise, from the start. All right, so I'm going to read you what David Gordon Green says here. He says, quote, "You don't want to reveal too much. I don't want to know Michael's psychological backstory. I feel like the mystery is best left unsaid. I don't want to see too much of him. I want to be very specific about how he's lit. The mystique of Michael, I'll say, is extremely important to preserving what's scary about him." End quote. Now, again, I got to come back here because that, to me, that's not a quote that was put out before Friday, but that's what I want to hear from David Gordon Green right now going into this movie. We talked about, is he going to be supernatural? Is he not? At the end of the day, he was always the boogeyman to Loomis and Tommy, and ultimately to Laurie as well. He's still the boogeyman to Laurie. He's gonna, some other people are gonna be convinced in this next film. I'm sure he's still the boogeyman, but it's not gonna be, an overly explained. The more he kills, the more he transcends. That's Laurie being the new Loomis. So in that respect, I love it, and that to me puts that line in perspective of what they're doing. And it's what we've been saying. Laurie's the new Loomis. She's the one that's gonna be the emotional core and remind us that this isn't a man. It's not a man, but it's also a man at the same time. But it's also not a man. That's what John Carpenter told me. So that's the way it is. All right, let's move over to the next page here. Yeah, this is there you see a shot up there. I'll show you a better shot of that of James Jude Courtney there in just a minute. A new little shot of Tommy down there in the corner. I didn't load that one up separately because it was kind of a cutout. But there are just a couple more good quotes, and then some interesting news about Halloween Ends in here as well. But let's start with a little more from David Gordon Green. He says this is about trying to control the image of Michael Myers in these films. He says, quote, my obsessive impulse is to be very protective of how we see the shape. So less is more. And yeah, I don't always win those battles, but I'm always fighting them. End quote. And here's another real interesting thing from David Gordon Green. I'll show you a better look at those shots right there. I'll comment on them in just a minute. But he goes on, Green, this is still Green, talking about the trailer. And apparently, David Gordon Green is in the camp with some of you guys that agrees with some of you guys that the trailer spoiled too much. He even says, quote, "There's a fuckload of spoilers, huh?" Green sighs. That he says, quote, that was a long journey, end quote. So so he wasn't too happy about some of those spoilers either, apparently. And then back on Karen holding the mask, the all-important mask that has played such an important role from the get-go, and this is how he explains tying it in to the 78 film. And of course, that moment, it's a major moment, and it was teased in the trailer. And this is again David Gordon Green, quote, "I was so excited, I thought it was," well, actually, that's Judy Greer saying that. Let me get back to David Gordon Green. He says, quote, "With this type of story, you've got to keep challenging the premise. Otherwise, it's another 40 years where we're running from the sky. You have to keep making the stakes higher." Actually, that was from Judy Greer. Sorry. I'm losing my place here. And this is the part from David Gordon Green about getting the mask off of Michael's head in 78, kind of repeating itself here. "It's digging deeper into these little moments," he says, "of Carpenter's film. It's something that we know startled Michael. He scrambles to put it back on out of some insecurity or whatever it is. That disguise is his superpower. So if you need to bait him and try to move this mythical creature, I thought that felt like a very provocative device to reuse," end quote. I love it. It is that moment when in that film where Michael, the only real moment in the 78 film where you feel that Michael is kind of momentarily insecure. Like, you almost hear him kind of groan in there right for a minute and scrambles. He does scramble to get the mask back on. And also, this got me thinking. Let me come back at you on here for a minute. All of this, and again, I want to hear what you guys think. I'm going to look at more of your comments in just a second. I just want to get through these last couple quotes here. But that also got me thinking about, we heard Tony Moran say a while back in a clip that the Halloween Kills contacted him to get his permission, presumably to use that clip. We know that PJ Souls is involved somewhere, and I'm assuming it's going to be another clip like that. I think all of this goes back to, like I said, about the PJ Souls clip, how we saw Judith Myers for just a few minutes, the flash of her kill, and when Dana and Aaron are visiting the gravesite, visiting Judith's gravesite in 2018. I think it's going to be very similar here. We're going to have some flashes, and very much maybe when Karen has that mask, we might even that be when we get the flash of 40 years ago when Laurie removed his mask for just those few seconds, and that's all we would get. It's just those quick seconds. That's all we get really of the Judith kill in the 2018 film. But I think it'll be more like that, and probably similar. Laurie, as the body count starts rising throughout Haddonfield, I imagine she's gonna have some flashbacks to finding her friends in 78, and we the viewers at least will probably get some flashbacks, maybe of the actual kill moments, I imagine, because in a movie called Halloween Kills, I mean, why not show them all from the old movie and this one? Byron says preview of the Halloween Kills soundtrack in August. That'd be good. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Maybe September. All right, so these shots, I love it. James Jude Courtney there. working out his scene with David Gordon Green. You see David's wearing a Myers shirt. Gotta love that. This is, of course, some of that scene that we see in the trailer, and it's featured in the previous still with the old man uh, laying over the table, and Michael, I guess he's admiring his work or about to do some more damage. Of course, the hand bandaged up now, so Michael, somewhere along the way, took a few minutes to wrap his left hand. And then this still on the right, I absolutely love it. This is classic Myers to me. This is iconic Halloween imagery to me. Myers just being Myers, lurking, stalking, being creepy as shit, just standing there. And this is just instantly one of those images, like the very first image from the film, which was also released by Total Film back in January of this year. I feel like it's instantly iconic, and I know a lot of you guys are noticing all the blue tint in a lot of these images. So I don't know that the whole film will necessarily have that, but definitely some certain scenes, certain locales, very blue, and that's very distinct. Okay, and they talked a little bit about the tension breakers, the comedy tension breakers from 2018. Uh, Green says there's not going to be as much as that. There'll still be a few laughs, but not as much as 2018 because they've shifted the entire tone of the film. And this is what he says on that. Quote, the second chapter gets dark and aggressive. We'll see if audiences are able to take that shift. He says, personally, I feel like it's respectful to those characters to let them have an outlet for their outrage rather than try to soften it with more comfortable invitations to the frustrations and tragedies of their evening. And then, speaking of the soundtrack, guys, they give us just a little taste of some of the new tones that we're going to be hearing because, of course, the film is a whole new tone, and that's going to be reflected in Carpenter's soundtrack. And this is talking about Carpenter's soundtrack. The magazine says it'll explore new sonic spaces for the series. And Green comments, quote, this film has some different tones that we're exploring, and he, Carpenter, very generously gave us the musical escort to those tones. There's some really vibrant new tracks. To me, the soundtrack is even better than the last one, end quote. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Gave us the musical escort to those tones. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's hear John Carpenter's uh, musical version of this mob rules mentality, this mob out to stop Michael, and the brutality that is going to be awaiting them. And then they get into just a little bit of Halloween Ends. Um, they, of course, initially wrote the first script at the same time they wrote Halloween Kills, well over a year ago. And on that, McBride says, quote, we wrote them both so that we had a clear vision of where everything is going, and we weren't just doing a greatest hits each time, but that it was going to be a journey. I really do feel like each of these films is completely distinct and unique, and they all connect to each other in a way that I don't feel is repetitive, but it just makes for an epic, bigger story, which I thought was exciting, end quote. That's all from Danny McBride. And again, I appreciate that they wrote the scripts at the same time, and they knew what where it was going. That way, it's kind of like a TV show with a cliffhanger ending. Ryan Cord with the $5 super chat. He says, that's so Nick Castle in that pic of Myers in the window. You can tell by the around tummy and look at his hand. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to zoom that in. Here, let me see if I can well, this isn't a super high res picture, but I will zoom it in a little bit for you guys. Absolutely, Ryan. Yeah, that is a Nick Castle shot. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite of these new images, actually, of all of them. This one is my favorite. I love this window shot. And you're probably right. That probably is Nick. I mean, he was in the window of the last film. So, and before we go further, everybody, let's toast Mr. Ryan Cord. Happy Michael Myers Monday. All right. And, yeah, so that's a McBride talking about how they wrote them both. But of course, the script has evolved. And David Gordon Green said this during the live tweet last year. He said that during quarantine, it's actually given him a little bit of time to work on the Halloween Ends script. And he says it's evolved. And part of that evolution is the reveal here that, let me get back on screen for this. Yeah, you guys, I'm sure you've heard the news, but the reveal in here, get ready, again, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know anything about Halloween Ends, you should stop listening right now. Okay? All right. Halloween Ends does not take place on the same night as 2018 and Kills. It's pretty radical. I don't, again, they never exactly said that it did, but I think we all just kind of assumed it was all going to be one night. Otherwise, Michael gets away and comes back again. And from the sounds of this article, it sounds like it originally was going to be the same night, but then that was one of the revisions that was made. So I don't know, but it does make me very curious about. Well, let's read their quotes and then I'll give you my thoughts. Bottom line is, I don't have a problem with that because this has already been a long night for these characters. I mean, the sun's going to be coming up soon. I know movie magic. We could all, but I think, moving it into real time, presumably happening what would be 4 years after 2018 in the year 2022, I think it's a good idea. I mean, the 2018 film took place in a pre-pandemic world. Halloween Kills takes place in a pre-pandemic world. Halloween Ends, it sounds like now, surprise, is going to take place in a post-pandemic world, post-quarantine world, anyway. And so I find that interesting in how not only, these characters were affected by what happened Halloween 2018, but, what happened not long after that in the real world. Definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with this. But let me read you just these quotes real quick about that time jump. Yeah, David Gordon Green says, quote, "We had the opportunity to wake up with a new idea, meditate on it for a year, and see how that's evolved in a really good way." And then the magazine explains that the year hiatus, why can't I say that? The year hiatus will also feed into the structure of the film, which will jump forward, quote, a few years. A few years. And then David Gordon Green makes it sound like it's going to be real-time years, which would be 4 years. He says, quote, "We're able to use the authentic time plot between Halloween Kills and Ends. So that's interesting. There will be a bit more of a linear time that acknowledges the reality of our years between the productions. It allows us to imagine what these characters' lives have been like after having processed these events after a few years, end quote. So that's kind of a Halloween Ends bombshell. Doesn't take place on the same night. Real time clock, authentic clock, that tells me it takes place Halloween 2022. I was assuming Halloween night. I mean, surely they're not going to set a Halloween movie at any other time. I mean, it's already opening on October 14th. You know, Michael's coming back. It's going to be on Halloween. But how do you guys feel about that? I'm definitely surprised. I didn't see that coming. But the more I think about it, the more I like it. Yeah, I think that makes total sense. I think it stretches. It's a little more of a stretch of your disbelief to cram all three films in the same night. I like the idea of it. I like the challenge of it and the novelty of it. But and then there's this bit from Malik Akkad as well, and this part was put out there before the magazine hit stands, but it says Malik says, quote, "The last one is going to be way more contained," end quote. And there is another quote about from David Gordon Green that was put out previous to Friday, and just talking about how each film in his trilogy, at least, is something different. Uh, and the third one will be a very different tone in the way that the second one, Kills, is a very different tone from the 2018 film. Jamie Lee Curtis also says at some point in this article, I've skipped over it, but at a certain point, she says that when she first met David and Danny, she remembers that they already had a trilogy in mind, 3 films. So how much of this, I mean, I know certain things in 2018 they ended up cutting. There was going to be a flashback in 2018. But yeah, according to her anyway, I mean, the plot thickens because, we've been led to believe that wasn't exactly the case. And, but she is quoted in this article saying that when she first talked to them, they had 3 films in mind. K&L Collectibles dropping in to say hello. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Sorry, guys. Just wrap it. Yeah, and then yeah, and then it ends with the quote from Jamie Lee Curtis, which again I previously reported on, where she basically says, again, spoiler alert, possible spoiler alert, that Halloween Ends will be the last time she plays Laurie Strode, which I don't think any of us are especially surprised about. She quickly tries to clarify that that doesn't mean that I die or that I don't die, or she doesn't want it to be spoilery, and of course it doesn't mean that she dies. It doesn't even mean that she survives Halloween Kills necessarily. It can easily be a flashback or any other device that she's in the film without having survived kills, even though she's probably going to survive kills. I mean, this whole thing is built around Laurie and Michael, especially this trilogy of films more than anything. So, she's probably going to survive, in my opinion. But she makes clear that that's not what she's trying to say, although it sounds like that's what she's saying. So there we go, guys. That is the Total Film magazine. That's the Total Film magazine, and yeah, so much good stuff in there, and so many great images just to obsess over. I mean, I love this cover, this subscribers cover. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Let me take a breath and a drink now that we're through the article. Sammy Presley says Michael is the best. You got that right. Michael Myers Monday. Let's see. Brian says Michael Myers is going to have dementia, forgetting how to kill. Oh yeah, because it's 4 years later. So he was 61, so he'll be 65 now. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It does also state in that article at one point that the magazine says, they don't quote anybody, but they say that Ends likely won't start filming until January. I've been thinking lately and for a while that it would be this fall. I still kind of think that. I haven't really heard anything differently, but the magazine, uh, they're saying that it could be as late as January, which that could be. I mean, we've known that it could be as late as January. I've said before, that doesn't mean the release date's going to be released delayed at all. It just means, if you remember, 2018 film didn't start filming until January 2018, and they wrapped mid-February, like 6 weeks later, and it was out that October. So that's not unheard of, especially given Malick's comments about how this one's going to be so much more contained, and how this one is going to be the dark, big scope sequel. The next one is going to be the quieter, more intimate, more contained scope sequel. This is what they're all saying. So it also makes sense that a film like Ends, a more contained one, less locations, less cast members, probably. I imagine some of these cast members that we know and are going to meet or meet again probably aren't going to make it to Ends. So, that could certainly make sense and make for a quicker shoot as well. All right, so let me see what you guys are saying in here in the live chat. Happy Michael Myers Monday again, everybody. Thank you for listening to me ramble and read that, but that is some great quotes. And again, I wish I had the physical magazine here to read you like a night before Christmas, like good night reading. But hopefully that satisfied that taste bud a little bit. But a lot of good stuff in there. And again, I am not upset about the Halloween Ends not picking up the same night. It makes me more curious than anything, more interested. But in general, with Halloween Ends, other than wanting to know when and where they're filming, I'm really trying to keep my expectations and everything on Kills, because so much could and is probably going to happen in that one. I think to get too focused on Ends at this point is just a little premature. Also, one good thing if they film in winter would be, if any spoilers are leaked, at least we will have seen Kills, so it won't be Kills related spoilers that could possibly be leaked at that point. John L. Gibson, I find it interesting that Halloween Ends will take place years later. Yeah, it's definitely not something I saw coming either. But again, the more I've thought about it, I mean, I get it. And it was, I think, with that extra year, I mean, last year was a long year for everybody and felt longer than normal. So it's kind of like we are in another just era now in a way. And so I think it'll be kind of cool to have the third movie exist in our new reality. Whereas Kills, clearly, I mean, it was filmed in 2019, takes place in 2018. It is a time capsule, a period piece, for lack of a better term. In some ways, it is a period piece. So, but I'm just curious of how it's going to go, and then how does all that play into it? Is it literally Michael coming back home to Haddonfield, to the Myers house 4 years later? Has Laurie been there just every year? He's coming. And I mean, probably, honestly, let's be real. It's probably gotta be, yeah, maybe the ending of Kills is just a replay of the ending of 78. He's dead, but then he's gone. And that's it. Cut to 4 years later. Why 4 years later? Who knows? It took him that long to transcend more. I don't know, guys. Maybe he was chilling with the old guy at the beginning of Halloween 5. Again, I don't want to get into speculating Halloween Ends. We got all next year to do that. But these new images of kills look great. That window shot, I bet you're right. That probably is Nick Castle. That's awesome if so. If that's his actually him standing there. But it is classic Michael. I know that it is iconic Myers instantly. Let's see. Hunter Coleman, what's up? Some new blood, I believe. Welcome. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Hunter says, can't wait for Halloween Kills. I'm glad to be here for Michael Myers Monday. Well, we are glad to have you, Hunter. Welcome. And you're in the right place. If you can't wait for Halloween Kills, well, this is the place to wait for Halloween Kills, to count down the days and the weeks. Subscribe to the channel. I'll say it again at the end. I'm going to say it right now. Subscribe to the channel is all I can say. We do a lot of this stuff every Monday. We do these lives. Might not next Monday. We try to do it every Monday. This has been a good streak, though. It's been like 7 months, guys. 6 months? 7 months? Yeah. 6 months straight every Monday. I'm going to have to take 1 or 2 off here soon. But but this is great. And so welcome, Hunter. And yeah, you're in the right place. You found your people. You're one of us. Welcome home. Rachel is here. Awesome. Rachel, happy Michael Myers Monday. Thank you for coming back. Time skip makes me a little nervous. To me, it fixes some problems, but has the potential to create so many more if they don't pull it off. That's the trick. You know, how are they going to pull it off? And yeah, it does create definitely some interesting, like, okay, well, how... But a lot of that could be us getting ahead of ourselves, not knowing how Kills is actually going to end. Sammy Presley says, when will Michael be fully unmasked so we can see his face? Well, you can see it in 2018 if you freeze frame. I mean, it's there. James's face is there a few times. As far as like a full big log reveal, I don't know. I mean, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 director's cut did that. I don't think it'll be in this film, though. ETV says, will you do box office predicts for Kills on the week it releases? Maybe. That's an idea. I can do something like that. Byron says, Halloween Ends is going to be interesting. That's right. Uno Take Go says the shape. Yep. That is the subject. Byron says Halloween Ends at Smith's Grove or in Russellville. Very well could be. I like those ideas. I can see where they could do that. A Smith's Grove set Halloween. Now that could work. That could be cool. Contain it in Smith's Grove, kind of the way the original H2 is contained in the hospital. I mean, I think the hospital in this film, we're probably not going to spend a ton of time there. I kind of hope we don't, because that'd be a little too H2. I think just having Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, having Laurie being there, having it play a part, I think is a big, all we need as far as, paying respect to the original H2. But a film set in the asylum now that could be something interesting. Maybe Laurie, if somehow Michael is captured again, and maybe Laurie is now coming to see him all the time, the way Loomis used to, and then of course when Halloween, shit goes bad, and he decides he's had enough, and starts letting the other crazy people out. That could be fun. That could be a contained Halloween movie that we haven't seen yet. It would be different, and you could, still conceivably have Laurie or Karen or Allison, whoever might still be around by that time. Sammy says Jamie should behead Michael. End it all after he is unmasked. ETV says Hope Kills will be seen in IMAX for 1 week since Dune coming out after. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about IMAX lately. somebody online pointed out that there was not the little IMAX logo at the end of that trailer, but all I can think is that trailer was probably made before the release date change, before the delay. And that would explain why the IMAX logo isn't on it. I don't know that for a fact, but that was, but it is interesting that it's not there. I don't know. But yeah, there's some big movies coming out that month now, especially with Dune. And yeah, they're going to want that IMAX all to themselves if possible. But hopefully, Kills will have at least that 1 week to themselves. Ryan wants to hear it. Are you ready? It's coming. It's coming. David Superherd, no IMAX. Interesting. I hope it's still IMAX. And I hope they would go ahead and let people know if it's not going to be. Where'd you hear that, David? ETV says, I hope. Oh, yeah. Larry says, can't you ask Eddie Lee? He's in Russellville. Low H2 humor. That's right. You got it, man. Allison Nelson versus Michael Myers in Halloween Kills or in Halloween Ends. Maybe a little of both. Or is she too bloodthirsty? Look, I can't. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but David Gordon Green said some of these heroes are going to rise up and some are going to fall. Maybe some of these heroes aren't as cut from the same cloth as we like to think, or even they like to think they are. I don't know. We're going to find out. And I don't know what combination it's going to be. I don't want to know until I see it, but it's very interesting. Byron saying no IMAX. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard that it'd be no. Like I said, I did hear somebody point out or saw it somewhere that somebody pointed out that the IMAX logo was not in the trailer like it is a lot of times when a film is going to, but, it could be very easily that trailer, which was cut before the film was going to be released in IMAX, before the delay, which I think it was cut then, so. Sammy Presley's out. All right. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Thanks for stopping in. David says another reliable channel. Heard it may play on big screens, but H Kills not in IMAX. Interesting. I would think that they would put out some kind of press release or at least let people know, because that was, at least in the story they released and the quotes that they put out with the delay, that was, presented as one of the bonuses. Hey, we're doing this delay, but the good thing is we're going to be able to do it for IMAX when it does come out. But yeah, IMAX not on the movie poster either. That's a good point. I was thinking maybe we'd get an IMAX specific poster at some point. Ken says Michael Myers will be featured on Halloween Daily News and Halloween Kills. Matt will quickly interview him before his next kill. Yeah, maybe. All right. Real quick, I'm going to give a couple shout outs to some of the Michael Myers Monday tweets and posts today. Like I say, every week I started this hashtag back in 2013, and it was just a fun way to celebrate my favorite horror franchise and bring some attention to Michael Myers and to Halloween Daily News, and to make my Mondays more killer and suck less, and everybody has just kind of adopted it, and it's grown into its own thing, and we get memes and gifs and videos and all kinds of stuff every week. And so here are just a couple that jumped out at me this week. So let's give them a shout out. All right, first up, this is on Twitter from Art of Markness, Mark Thorpe. He says, a quick Michael Myers painting I did last night. Hashtag Michael Myers Monday. Hashtag Halloween Kills. Very cool. That's pretty good. I mean, for something just to whip together like that, it's pretty damn good. Good job, Mark. Happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Also on Twitter, this is from Jin Art at art underscore Jin. Michael Myers' Transcendence. And there you can see their artwork. I love seeing people's original artwork. All the different interpretations of the boogeyman. I mean, Rachel says an interview with the Shape would be pretty dull. He'd just be breathing and then you'd get scissors in your chest. That's about it. Yeah, that's about right. David with the scissors on time. Rachel says, keep those scissors away from me. That is too funny. Also from Twitter today, this is Beth at Beth underscore Manji. And this is what I'm talking about. Ever feel that something is after you? Never mind, it's Sunday night. That feeling is just Monday. Now, that is what I'm talking about. People have taken the hashtag and just made it mean whatever they need it to mean in their lives to make that Monday better. And, sometimes it's attacking Monday the way Michael Myers attacks it. Sometimes it's Monday attacking you the way Michael Myers attacks. But I love it. Don't know who created this. I don't know who creates most of these memes for Michael Myers Monday. And moving over to Instagram, here's some more original art by Art of Revenge, who just says simply kills. Enough said. A lot of Halloween Kills artwork coming out. And another one from Instagram is from Space Base or 5 Pace Base. Still have a few things that didn't fit into the new display, but I'm still digging the new setup. Hashtag Michael Myers Monday. Had to share this because that's a pretty damn impressive collection. What do you guys think? Any of you got a collection of masks like Space Bases? And one more from Instagram from the one and only Tyler Main himself. And he says, just making some masks over here to celebrate Michael Myers Monday. Clown emoji. What are some of your hobbies? Well, our hobbies are talking about Michael Myers and collecting things that have to do with Michael Myers and watching Michael Myers movies. What are your hobbies? Tyler Main, love when any of the cast members participate in the Michael Myers Monday hashtag, which I just realized I didn't change my little hashtag up there. Normally it says Michael Myers Monday up there, but it still says Halloween Daily. Anyway, you get the picture. You guys know what's up. Use the hashtag on Michael Myers Monday and help spread the word about the show, about the broadcast, about the channel, about the site. And let's get this sucker trending as we move into fall. I know summer just started according to the calendar, but you guys know what I know, that it's really almost Halloween. Tracy says, hell comes to Haddonfield. I like that. Rachel says, I think we should keep that room hidden from Jamie. All right, Ryan and David Suber, the show's almost over. Ryan wants it. For those of you that don't know, there's a kick-ass metal band called Korn. Ryan loves them so much he named himself after them. First song on their first album starts with the lead singer growling, "Are you ready?" And it's awesome. And so now it's become a silly thing that we do here on Monday nights. And everybody likes to enjoy watching the blood vessels in my brain and my head pop and explode and like pumpkin guts all over the screen one day. All right, guys, it is just about midnight, so I'm going to wrap it up. This is, like always, this is longer than I planned on being on here tonight. As you know, I'm hitting the road tomorrow with the family. We're taking a little road trip. We're going to Scares That Care this weekend. Before we even get there, we're going to be doing some Hallow hunting, hoping to find some cool animatronics and just Halloween stuff out at some of the stores that we don't have locally. And also going to be trying to find a physical copy of that Total Film magazine, of course. And so there'll be some videos of our adventures along the way. And definitely watch for this weekend, because I'm going to have lots of coverage from Scares That Care weekend. I'm going to do walkthroughs. We're going to do our regular, HD pre-recorded coverage. I'm going to do some stuff from my phone. I figure on Saturday it'd probably be a good day to do like a walkthrough, kind of give you a feel for what it's like. And I know Sean and Christopher, Thing with Two Heads, they're going live this Friday from the Chicago Flashback Weekend. So this is kind of a fun thing. We're going to do our live Friday from Scares That Care. It's going to be earlier in the evening, probably about 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're just going to do, this is if everything goes as planned. But the plan is to do a live this Friday from the event. We'll recap the week's news, give you a little taste of the event, and then do some other live stuff as far as walkthroughs and who knows what else, because it's going to be a crazy adventure. We're excited. It's our first convention back post quarantine, post 2020. So we're excited to be out among the living again. There's an Anthrax reference for you guys. So anyway, as always, thank you all for being here. I know I missed a lot of your comments tonight. I did try to rush through things a little bit because there was a lot to get to and a lot of good stuff, and I hope you enjoyed it. And to all my returning friends, thanks for sticking with me, guys. And to all the new blood, thank you for finding us. Welcome. You have found your place. If you found us tonight and you're still watching to this point, well, then you should subscribe to the channel, because we do stuff like this a lot, and we're only just getting going with this season. Like I said, we got 3 big conventions we're going to be covering and attending, not to mention lots of other stuff going on, and that's even before we get to October and actual Halloween Kills out, and just it's going to be insane, guys. So that's what I love. I love seeing those pumpkins lit in the chat room. Rachel, thank you. We will have a great trip. You guys, you all have a good week. And like I said, keep watching the channel. There will be some videos posted here and there. And look for the live Friday. That should be fun and just something different. And yeah, I can't thank you all for tuning in tonight enough. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. All right, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all for watching.